Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning. A beautiful Monday morning here in downtown Birmingham. Coming off a Detroit Lions win.
It's Victory Monday. The Pistons.
How about that? How about that for a game?
Adam, we were wrong. Very wrong. But I'm okay with admitting it because I don't think anybody saw that.
I don't think anybody predicted the Lions winning outside of a few trolls on social media.
Definitely, no.
I don't even care that I'm wrong. I could care less about picking a game. That was a football game.
Yeah, it was worth it.
Fish, how was your weekend, buddy?
My weekend was good. I had an exciting time. There was very little Premier League on. I watched the championship, but I had fun watching just everything this weekend. It was a good weekend.
Did you watch Lions football this weekend?
I did. They actually got a win. I don't know how, but they did.
Well, we'll tell you how in a bit. Jeff, how was your weekend?
It was a good weekend.
Yeah, good weekend.
A lot of fun things happening this weekend. We got to see the Lions, Pistons finally break their streak. Red Wings, Larkin got a hat trick, so wow.
All right.
Can't complain.
We have a jam-packed show today.
Mm-hmm.
We've got complete coverage of what happened on Sunday for the Detroit Lions. We have Ku Khalil from Locked On Pistons joining us around 8:30. Kory Woods, 8:14. Talk about the game from Sunday. But, Jeff, let's get into it. Wow. Maybe wow is the perfect word for Sunday.
Perfect.
And let me tell you guys, as someone that is openly and vocally a critic of Dan Campbell, wow. I can get on that. I can support that. That was their first actual football game that they've played. They looked like an actual football team. That wasn't, you get lucky, other teams make more mistakes than you. That wasn't any given Sunday, any team can beat any team in the NFL. No. That was 60 minutes of damn good football. And I really believe this. That win was very similar to the Mel Tucker win against Michigan year one. That win was very similar to the Penn State and Ohio State wins for Jim Harbaugh this year. If you want to call it program changing, that you can get behind. I see what you're trying to build towards. I understand what you are trying to become. Offensive line centric, I think we all already knew that the offensive line was their strength. But this ability to plug and play any back, that's a compliment.
Yeah.
Cleveland, San Francisco, you have those two models. Dynamic tight end similar to San Francisco. Okay, I see it. You'd like better talent at wide receiver? Amon-Ra St. Brown is stepping up to the plate. Josh Reynolds has clearly been a very good signing. Jared Goff, efficient, 21 of 26, 3 touchdowns.
No turnovers.
That was a football game.
Yeah.
Defensively, not surprised. They've been doing it all season, guys. Aaron Glenn's done a hell of a job with this team on defense. But it was the ability to put together a game plan for 60 minutes that totally threw off the Arizona Cardinals. That is football. That not only a fan base, but everyone in general can get behind. That is a direction you can follow. That is a direction you can see. Now, I'm not saying they're a playoff team next year. Don't get me wrong. But having said that, that looked like a football team. And whatever Ben Johnson is doing behind the scenes with Dan Campbell, God bless him. It's working. Whether he needs to be the offensive coordinator in the offseason, or they go out and get one, or they keep it the way it is now, we'll wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys want to talk about draft capital and position? We'll get to it later. But for this moment, 8:05 in the morning, downtown Birmingham, 12/20/21, December 20th, week of Christmas. The Detroit Lions won a football game where you looked at them and said, okay, you know what, Dan? I'll give you all next year. Hell, I'll give you year 3. If that's your game plan, if that's your model, if that's what you're building towards, okay, I see it. No problem. Give me more. All for it. If that's how you want to play and that's how you want to build this team, okay, that's fine. That makes sense to me. And I have no issue with it. And everyone that wants to criticize, well, they ruined it. Who cares? There's no Trevor Lawrence. There's no Joe Burrow. There's no Justin Herbert. There's no top-tier quarterback coming out right now that you feel so confident that you need to have the number 1 overall pick. And last I checked, Hutchinson and Thibodeau, you would take either one. There's not a significant difference between the two. Outside of raw talent and sheer ceiling, maybe in Thibodeau.
Right.
So what's the ruckus about this morning? It should be plain and simple. The Lions put together 60 minutes for the first time this year. And for the first time this year, I think as a viewer, you saw what they were working towards. All year, all you heard was they're playing hard. At least they're playing hard. Well, what's the game plan? What's the scheme? What's their identity? I saw an identity on Sunday. An identity that I can actually see in the future making sense.
Yep.
And that, I think, was more important than anything. Win was nice. But more than anything, you saw what this football team may look like late next year, maybe early year 3. That made sense to me. Sunday was so good. Sunday was so good. I'm sorry.
It was.
And people can maybe jump on and say, well, no need to overreact. No, I think this is not an overreaction. And I think it's warranted that a football team to have struggled all season to close games.
Yeah.
Offensively to put up points. Offensively to not turn the ball over. Defensively to overcome all the mistakes your play calling and your offense has been doing to you all season. To go up against the 10-3 Arizona Cardinals, 13.5-point underdogs at home. It wasn't that they beat them. They beat the Vikings, guys. That was irrelevant. That wasn't a win. That was a football game.
Yeah.
That was a football team. That was a coaching staff that was prepared, that prepared their players. I can't say anything outside of compliments. And that looked like a football team that has an identity. And an identity that they're working towards, Jeff.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it was definitely, I like to say, an alternate universe because the Lions led 17-0 and the Cardinals didn't score, obviously, anything. And the thing that impressed me the most, obviously, we'll get to Aaron Glenn and the defense because 4 red zone trips, 6 points. Like, I can't say good enough things about that. But Jared Goff, and man, Jared Goff, I would say, had his best game in Honolulu Blue yesterday. 3 touchdowns, 0 turnovers, 21 for 26. And the guy got touched up early. Didn't break him, made some beautiful throws. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds. And the Josh Reynolds thing is interesting because when the Lions brought in Josh Reynolds, ever since then, man, Jared Goff has looked like a tremendously different quarterback, and his turnovers went down. He's moving the ball more downfield. I think this game they average almost 8 yards per attempt, which is different for us in the Lions. I mean, they're not really throwing it downfield. So it was you mentioned Ben Johnson, and I think we need to reiterate that point because ever since the news broke with Ben Johnson helping out with the play calling, drawing plays, you've seen more, at least schematically. Jared Goff not only looked better, but they're taking shots downfield, and I like it. And defensively, they've bailed this offense out. They fumbled again coming out of halftime. They're up 17-0. It could take the whole momentum out of the game, and what happens? Amani Oruwariye, your best corner, turns the ball over, and that's what you expect. I mean, you put your defense in bad positions, yes, but they still play their ass off. And early in the game, they went for the onside. Didn't get it. And they, held Kyler Murray 3 and out. So that's what you like to see. It was the most complete game I've seen as a Lions fan in quite some time. And you honestly can't reiterate enough that Jared Goff might not be your future quarterback, but I could at least argue the guy's stable. And if you get talent around him, the Josh Reynolds thing, Josh Reynolds has looked good. Amon-Ra St. Brown's coming into his own. And I've said this, when did I say this? It was week 3, I believe. And I said Amon-Ra St. Brown would lead all wide receivers in receiving yards. And I'm sticking by it because he's getting better and better every game. He's just under 100 yards the past 2 games. So great things, especially from the offense, Adam, because we've been talking about this defense all damn year. And it's about time we give some credit to this offense, Ben Johnson, Jared Goff, and those guys.
What do we always talk about, Jeff, when it comes to the Pistons, the Tigers, the Red Wings? Joining us now, Kory Woods, beat reporter for the Detroit Lions and the Woodward Sports Network. Kory, we talk about this all the time. Red Wings, Pistons, even the Tigers. Why do you accept the rebuild with these 3 teams? You see where they're going.
Right.
You see the identity. You see what's being built. With the Lions, excuse me, I don't think anybody could say you actually knew where this was going up until Sunday. Sunday felt like an identity game for me. And that's the first time I was really like, you know what? I've always liked Brad Holmes. I always thought he had done a good job all year. But I was waiting for something that you can show me 3 years from now that says, yep, that was the game where they built an identity if it turns out to be successful.
That was a statement win. That was a
Absolutely.
statement. That was a statement win for the franchise, for where they're trying to go, for everything that they want to become. Now, I want to get on this real quick because I've just been seeing this all over social media, and it's been ticking me off. The Lions are messing up their draft position. The Lions are messing up their draft position.
Lazy.
Okay, look. If the Lions draft 1, they draft 2, they draft 15, they draft 115. Brad Holmes' damn job is to go out there and find talent at whatever position they get. Mm-hmm. These guys are playing a violent game. They're not trying to go out there and hear you talking about tank. Some of these guys are out there. This is a violent game. Some of these guys are out there playing to either come back to the Lions next year,
trying to get a paycheck,
or they're auditioning for their next team. Mm-hmm. These coordinators and coaches, they're either auditioning for a promotion here with the Lions or a promotion with another team.
Yep.
No other team is trying to hear like, well, why don't you guys, what happened in Detroit? Oh, well, we were tanking, so overlook that. Bull crap. Go out there and play. If you want the Lions to tank, that contradicts the same old Lions mentality. I mean, you want them to go ahead and build something. The Lions you can't say the Lions need to go ahead and tank then. Okay, after we tank and we get these picks, then we can turn it on. The Detroit Pistons have a history of we can go back to and say, okay, we're going to do it like this, and then we're going to turn it on for our franchise. The Tigers, to a degree, they have that.
Yeah,
the
right.
Red Wings, they can say, okay, we're going to build this way, and then we're going to go back to Red Wings. The Lions have to keep it on at all times. They're trying to install a culture. So what you do, you win. You go out there and you play the best team in the NFL, and you don't give up the lead the entire game. You beat them for 60 minutes.
Absolutely.
That is how you build a culture. And then wherever the chips fall they made in the draft, Brad Holmes has to go find talent regardless. I don't want to hear about tanking. It's no surefire guarantee if they get number 1 that a Thibodeau or a Hutchinson will be the guy in Detroit. It's no guarantee.
Mm-hmm. And there's no significant difference between the two. Whether you pick 1, 2, or even 3. Right. Are you really missing out on something special? Where's the quarterback? I don't see it.
There's no Trevor Lawrence.
So we got to go to break. When we get back, Kory, stick around. We're going to talk to Kory more about Dan Campbell, just how impressive Sunday was and how momentum building it was. So much more to come. Jeff, would you please tell everybody at home about our good friends at Northwestern Tech?
Yes, like Northwestern Tech provides great opportunities for people, and especially during this time, everybody's hiring. So go to Northwestern Tech, and they'll help you start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, a mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning, whether you're watching us on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Thank you for joining, or even the Woodward Sports app. Kory Woods, beat reporter for the Detroit Lions, joining us this morning. Kory, thanks so much for being in. We got to talk a little bit about Dan Campbell.
Okay.
But before we do, before the break, you brought up draft capital. And I think it's a really interesting point. I think for the first time I can remember in a long time, you feel comfortable no matter where you're picking as a Detroit Lions fan because you have this trust with Brad Holmes. Why? Because year 1 he delivered. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jefferson when healthy. Barnes. Penei Sewell. The linemen. Like, this is, you see it. It's there. So I don't see the fuss. And while they cost her, no, really? Does it matter, Kory? I don't see the difference between picking at 1
the line,
and 5.
Look at what the defense is doing with undrafted free agents. Come on. They're doing this. They had 10 defensive backs go down this season.
Yeah.
But whether it's with injury or illness or COVID.
Will Harris was playing cornerback. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you got guys like Bobby Price, Jerry Jacobs, A.J. Parker throughout the season. You get talent wherever you find it, but they've been doing this with undrafted free agents. You got a guy, Craig Reynolds, Netflix. He did good in the preseason. Then they let him go. Well, they put him to the practice squad.
Right.
And then they called him back up when needed. And then he goes out and I want to say this correctly. I believe he has this for the first 2 games as a Lion, the second most rushing yards over in the first 2 games. I think he's behind Barry Sims, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like they have guys who can coach.
Yeah.
Wherever you pick at, just let the chips fall where they may and pick talent. I don't want to hear any excuses because what's going to happen if you tank? You get those guys and you don't get any better. The Detroit Lions cannot turn it on and off. They've never been that. So I don't get this idea where you tank and then next year you can turn it on. It don't work like that.
Look at the Jags.
It doesn't work.
Jags are going to get the number 1 pick again. So.
It's never worked in the NFL.
No.
I'm sorry. It's never worked in the NFL. It doesn't work. It's
Ask the Philadelphia 76ers how trusting the process worked out for them.
Yeah.
No, it didn't work. Didn't work.
I'm sorry. Look, there's a lot of chatter going on in our chat. How meaningless that game was, or how funny it is that people are reacting. I don't see it. Sorry, I don't see it that way.
You know why I say that's bullcrap. Here's why I say it's bullcrap, because that game, for one, that game was meaningful to the Arizona Cardinals because they needed to win that game.
There you go.
They
Division's
just got
on the
their
line
butts.
now.
They just lost to the Rams. They needed to win that game to keep their division, keep their that division close. Mm-hmm. They needed to win that game. The Detroit Lions won that game with a bunch of guys off the street. So imagine how they're going to look when they're able to add actual talent to go up against this. They had a bunch of guys off the street beat the best team in the NFL, and you're going to say that's a meaningless game? Bullcrap. A meaningless game is going out there, if you lost yesterday's game, going out next week and punching the Falcons in the mouth. That's a meaningless game because they're not good this year. A meaningless game is going out and punching the Seattle Seahawks in the mouth. Or beating the Green Bay Packers the last game of the season, and they have maybe Jordan Love in their starting quarterback. That's a meaningless game. A meaningless game is not going out and beating the best team in the NFL when they're playing for something, and you play your most sound football for 60 minutes against the best team in the NFL. That's not meaningless. That is a statement and a culture builder that you're hoping that you can carry over into the next season.
I think people are really missing the boat here.
They are.
I really am. And if you guys want to criticize, not the day, not the week, hell, not the off season anymore. That's how important Sunday was, at least for me. What I saw on Sunday was probably the best football I've seen played, even through the Jim Caldwell years, even prior with Schwartz. Hell, I could date back to the 90s. The last time I saw a football game where I felt I trusted the coaches on our sideline more than the ones across.
The only flaw with yesterday's game, and it's not even really a coaching problem, it was more so of Godwin and Igwebuike and his fumbles.
Yeah.
When he put the ball on the
straight
carpet.
week, right?
Yeah. So that was the only thing I can see yesterday, oh crap. But then what happened? A play or two later, Amani gets the pick and gets them right back where they need to be. So it's like,
what's the mentality? What's the narrative? When they fumble the ball, it's here come the Cardinals. Game over. All right. Fun while it lasts. No. Guys, I swear, maybe I want to say early second quarter. I was sitting there and I was saying, you know what? I actually trust Dan Campbell and this coaching staff right now more than Cliff Kingsbury and his coaching staff. And I meant that. And when I was sitting there, I said, you know what? That's an identity game, especially after the game. Mm-hmm. And I called into the post-game show. That was an identity win. That wasn't a meaningless win.
And what's interesting is more about it is, like you said, what you said earlier, it didn't feel like cheap, okay, they came back or they went ahead and snuck it out. They were the better team the entire time.
Across all positions. All positions, too.
they were the better team.
Yeah.
And when you thought, even when the defense was on their heels a couple of times, I'm like, call a timeout, call a timeout. The defense went ahead and responded. What I mean, you're hoping that this can carry over. You're hoping that they're able to build something, because then you see what they're building. Then you're going to be able to attract free agents. You're going to be able to turn some of those draft picks' minds, like of some, report some guys that don't want to come here, don't want to say who, because you don't know, nothing's accurate, but you want to change guys' minds and their mindset and their feelings about the Lions to want to come here and to want to join what Dan Campbell is building. So you got to win games like that.
Dan Campbell after the game, very simple. Welcome to Detroit.
Yeah.
Welcome to Detroit, man. And look, guys. Again, when you deserve criticism, you're going to get it. But not today.
No.
I'm sorry. That was not only a statement win, identity win, whatever we want to call it. What I saw was a coach who not only has the ability to galvanize a team, but for the first time, yes, for the first time only, but we really saw 60 minutes of, I'm going to out-scheme you.
Right.
I'm going to come prepared to take away what you like to do. I'm going to keep Kyler Murray contained in the pocket. I'm going to make sure they can't go vertical down the field. I'm going to make them be impatient because they're going to be down 2-3 scores, and they're going to have to take the 5-yard underneath routes, but they're not going to do it, and that's what forced all the havoc you saw on Sunday. I really felt good for the first time. Even Minnesota, that wasn't a feel-good win. I'm sorry. That Sunday?
Oh, yeah.
That's a buy-in game. Not only for the staff, media, fans. If you aren't sold on the fact that this team clearly, you saw the identity, and if they build towards it, it's not a guarantee. Yeah. This could all totally go to crap in 2-3 years. But the point is, you saw where they're going, Kory.
Yep.
And as long as you see where a team is trying to go, you can get behind it. Whether it's 2-14-1 this year, 7-10 next year, and who knows, maybe they go 10, 11, 12 wins the year after. Who knows? I can't predict the future, but I can see where they're building, and I can get behind that.
And like I said again, we have to reiterate the point. They did that without their main guys playing. They did it without their main guys playing. What more do you want, at least for right now? You wanted to see something.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, if they get these guys more talent, let's see what can happen. You saw that yesterday because they did. I'm not going to knock those guys. They went out there and played their butts off and they won the game. But you're talking about adding more talent. You add more talent, you get more pieces over the next couple of years. They're going to really have something here because all those guys are not going to be there next year. But you're able to at least see something that you can sink your teeth into and actually believe.
Outside of the off-field scandals, why was Urban Meyer fired? What was the identity of Jacksonville? I don't know.
Don't have one.
What's the identity of the Chargers? Why is Brandon Staley allowed to make so many quote-unquote mistakes going for it? Why? Oh, that's his identity. And he reiterates it with his team week after week. And they reiterate it. Yeah. And they believe in it. That's why. Why are some of these coaches always gone after 1-2 years? No identity. What are we building towards? And with Matt Rule right now, although I think he's doing a really good job, especially defensively with that team, what's your identity on offense?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do with the quarterback? And if you don't solve that literally next year, this offseason, he's going to be out of Carolina. Doesn't matter if he's done a decent job making a top 10 defense. Doesn't matter. You don't get the quarterback right. You don't get the offense right. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And for the first time, you saw the Lions put the offense together. And it's like, oh, okay. So when we're healthy, run-heavy teams similar to the Niners, the Browns, whoever you want to compare them to. And we're going to hit you with deep play-action pass, underneath, deception, motion. Guys, you saw where the team is going, Kory. I don't know what it felt like in the press box for you.
It was just interesting because I was watching when I was watching. Of course, I'm just like, you know what? Here's what will sell me on if they can really win this game. If they go out there and they score a touchdown on this drive, and put it up get 17 before the half, that'll make me believe like, okay, they're not just trying to play it safe. They're trying to go out there and punch him in the mouth. Mm-hmm. What did they do? They kept the foot on the gas the entire game. Now, though, I will say this. I had three things that I was just looking at over the game that during the game and after the game that immediately came to my mind. First off is about Amani Rourier. I think, you You draft Jeff Okudah high. You're hoping he comes back very healthy next season. But Amani's got to be number one corner
for sure
starting next year. I mean,
he already is. He's an elite corner.
I mean, he has to be cornerback number one next year. I mean, the guy right now he has 6 picks on the year.
Was it tied for third or something like that?
Yeah,
He's ridiculous.
He could very well end up with maybe 8 next week because they're going against the Falcons. I believe that he can get at least maybe 1, possibly 2 against Matt Ryan. Another thing that really came to mind is I don't know what they're going to do about Anthony Lynn in the offseason because they were 0-8. The first 8 they were 0-8 with him as the primary play caller. With Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell together figuring it out, they're 2-3-1. So you want to get better, but I don't know where they go with Lynn on this one.
Lynn's gone, in my opinion. But a great comment in the chat. Love this. Totally irrelevant right now, but super important. I want to get your take on it before we go. We have 1 minute. Bevel did it again from one funky Lions fan. Takes over as head coach and calls a completely different game than what he was calling as the OC. The guy's a piece of work. I noticed that too. I'm like, this dude is intentionally getting coaches fired so he can be the interim coach. I'm sorry. I even noticed that when he was the OC under Matt Patricia. What, Matt Patricia was stopping you from calling a creative offense, quote unquote? No, the hell he wasn't. That's why I was so against him getting the job. Jesus Christ, Matt Bevel's a piece of
you slide dog,
work,
you
man.
slide dog, Darrell Bevel.
He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get an interim job, man. You got to give him credit, but he did lose to Houston, so whatever. Kory, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Oh, no problem.
Guys, check out Kory's articles. They're always on woodwardsports.com. Check out our Twitter feed. We're always posting them. Stay up to date with Kory. Give him a follow at Kory Woods. Oh, we got to go to break. When we get back, Ku Khalil from Locked On Pistons will be joining us to talk about the future of the team, Killian Hayes' development, Cade Cunningham, etc., etc. So excited about this, guys. So excited. We'll get to it after the break. But before we go, guys, MyBookie, there's no better place, no better time to be betting than this week, Christmas week, baby. You got football on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. My goodness, give me football every single day of the week if you could, but you can't, NFL, unfortunately. Having said that, bet from anywhere, anytime using MyBookie. Sign up today using code Woodward, and they'll match your first deposit up to $1,000. You put in $100, they'll give you $100. You put in $200, they'll match you for $200, and if you're a high spender, be my guest. But that's the way. And of course, guys, as always, if you suck at gambling, or you just have a gambling problem, please call the Gambling Problem Hotline at 1-800-270-7117.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Show here, and that's how you answer. We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We are joined by a very special guest. First time appearance on the morning show. Ku from Locked On Pistons.
About
big
new time.
fan.
Yep.
Big Pistons fan.
Oh, yeah.
And very vocal about Troy Weaver and Killian Hayes.
Yep.
So we'll get right into it. Ku, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me, man. It was a nice drive out. I like the area. I like you guys' setup. It's nice.
And I saw you tweeted you've never been up this early in a while, right?
No, yeah, I haven't been up this early in a long time, man. Probably going back to my college, back when I was going to college.
Yeah.
Man. I'll tell you what. The one thing about doing a morning show, you have to be up really early. I was up at 5 a.m.
It's ridiculous.
Just getting all my my prep going. I was reviewing everything. I'm just like, I could be sleeping till 7, but I can't.
Yeah.
I got to be up. But anyways, Ku, thanks so much for joining us. We got to get right into it.
Okay.
So first, I want to talk about possible trade scenarios for the Detroit Pistons. I think there's a little bit of public misinterpretation or perception on what to do with Killian Hayes in terms of trading. I'm very vocal of Killian. Do you really, 1, need him? 2, he's not developing as quickly as you'd like. And 3, if he's involved in a trade where you're bringing in a star caliber player or even all-star, I'm all for it. But is that a realistic scenario for the Pistons before the trade deadline this year?
In terms with Killian, no, I don't think so. So the problem is, like you mentioned, I feel like he's taken some steps forward this year, but it would be fair to say he's not moving as fast as people probably would have expected. And at that point, his value trade-wise won't be that high anyway. So I think it was you guys who threw out like Jeremy Grant and Killian Hayes for Sabonis. I'm not sure Killian Hayes is adding any value to that deal for the Pacers. And overall, right now, if you wanted to move Killian Hayes, you'd have to wait until I feel like you'd want to wait until his value reaches a higher point, because right now you'd be basically selling low. He means more to the Pistons than he would out on the trade market right now.
Right.
Him figuring it out right now and putting it together a couple of games and months and developing where he wants to go is more valuable to the Pistons right now than it is to move him while his value is this low and then potentially him break out somewhere else, because you're not really going to get equal value for where you spent him on, which is the 7th overall pick.
Right.
So here's where I'm at with the whole Sabonis, Miles Turner. Obviously, that week Indiana came out open shoppers, LeVert, Turner, and Sabonis. And where I'm at with that is I don't think it's even possible, given you're gonna have to give up multiple, not one number one pick, multiple. Because I think that's what Indiana's looking for. They're not going to shop for Jeremy Grant. Why? Because they're trading veteran players with high salary cap. So it doesn't make sense to me. It looks like they want to build around Brogdon. Why? Beats me. But, hey, let them do what they want. I don't see the Pistons as serious trade suitors, but I think where I was going with the Killian Hayes move is I'm ready to move off him given that scenario works out, which, again, is very unlikely. But speaking of Killian, his development, you kind of pointed to it. You've seen a little bit, one step forward, two step back. One step forward, two steps back. What's his comp in the NBA?
Right now, I would put it at like Alonzo Ball type right now. So part of the thing that showed that, at the beginning of the season, that made people start to believe in him a little bit more. I feel like the tide started to swing on him a little bit towards the beginning of the season. A lot of fans weren't really in on him, and then it started to swing a little bit because his three-point shooting was coming around.
Right.
Then he injured his left thumb. And since he's returned from that 4-game absence, I believe he's shooting around 29% from deep. So he has to get that back up higher. Whether the thumb's messing with him still, it doesn't matter. People aren't going to give him that excuse. He needs to get that shot back up higher. But right now, I feel like his comp probably is Lonzo Ball, because Lonzo also struggles from two-point range. He struggles to get to the free throw line. He struggles to really anywhere between the rim and the three-point arc. He struggles right now. Yeah. But he's a great transitional passer, which Killian is as well. He's a great three-point shooter, which is where Killian's trying to get to. He's a good playmaker, and he's really good defensively, and that's all those kind of things that Killian Hayes basically is at right now. So I figure that's probably his best comp as of right now, where he's going to eventually – that's kind of like the framework he's putting out for the Pistons right now. I think that's I think it's good that you're seeing a framework, because last year it kind of was wishy-washy, I feel like. You thought he was a pick-and-roll ball handler, playmaker type of thing, but now you see him starting to mold himself into more of a Lonzo Ball-like type player, and we'll see if he can make more of that or become more than that. But right now, I feel like that's where his framework right now, at least for this season, is.
No, yeah, I like the Lonzo Ball comparison. I want to shift over to Dwayne Casey because obviously the Pistons right now 5-24, and we talk about Dwayne Casey all the time. Obviously, I'm still on Dwayne Casey. I think I want to see him with more talent at least around him, because you know what he can do at least from a coaching standpoint. Where are you on Dwayne Casey, and are you one of the guys, hey, give him another year, or are you the guy that you're not going to be surprised when this team actually is good? There's another coach that takes him to the promised land. What are your thoughts on Dwayne?
Well, they gave him an extension, so I don't think he's going anywhere right now or next season or anything. So I don't think he's going anywhere. I do think that when they do start to win or start to go for to compete for real, he won't be the coach. I think he's the coach that gets you through the rebuild and gets you through development-wise and all that. So I think he's safe right now. I saw someone tweet at me a few days ago saying that Dwayne Casey's job is more safe than Cade Cunningham is right now. And it's a funny joke, but he is pretty safe.
He got some point to it.
He is pretty safe for at least right now, and for the next, I would say, year at least, to get them through this development-wise. But I do think that once they start to get to the competing phase, he probably won't be the coach. They'll move in a different direction. Maybe even Allen, who's the assistant coach right now.
Right.
He could be their version of Mark Jackson. But speaking of Dwayne Casey, look, the guy's a proven winner in the Eastern Conference. He's won 50 games multiple times throughout the regular season. He's held a 1 seed with Toronto. So I don't think it's a coaching issue. I just think this team is super young. They have no veteran leadership. Jeremy Grant, I don't really consider him, quote unquote, a veteran leader. Somebody on the court who's going to galvanize, get everybody organized, make sure everybody's making the right decisions communicating. And with Casey, again, I think you give him time. I don't see the rush. But
yeah.
I will say one thing about Killian Hayes. He is the youngest player, actually, on the team. And I don't mind waiting out till his last year of his deal before making a decision, believe me. But how does that backcourt look like 1 year, 1.5, 2 years from now? Sadiq finally looks like he's back to normal, thank God. He can actually hit a three-point shot.
Third game of 20-plus points.
Cade looks like a star. I don't see anybody not admitting that. What does that backcourt look like in a few years?
Well, I think the backcourt is, I talked about this like last week, and I just mentioned that Killian Hayes' left thumb. He's been struggling to shoot from outside since he came back from that. But for the majority of the season, I was talking about that the backcourt was one of the main bright spots of the season. They were any duo with Cade Cunningham. I don't think it's that right now. But for a large majority of the season, any duo with Cade Cunningham, Killian Hayes had the highest net rating with him and Cade on the floor.
Yep.
So they were working really well off each other. Killian's improving a lot off ball and moving without the ball. So they're finding ways to fit with each other. I think they, even before the season, I talked about them defensively, having two guys who are like 6'5" and above. Killian 6'5". Cade's either like 6'6", 6'7", who knows where he's at, somewhere between that area. They change his height every 5 seconds. But they're both long, tall guys. You can double down. You see it a lot when they double down with those guys. It's different because they're bigger, longer, that you can't really get a pass over them. They play the passing lanes really well. So defensively, I feel like they fit really well together. And offensively, it really just comes down to, and I said this on Locked On Pistons like a few days ago, it comes down to whether Killian Hayes develops or not. It's not going to be because they don't fit together, or their archetypes don't fit together, or their skill set doesn't fit together. It's simply going to come down to, is Killian Hayes going to get better? Is he going to become a legit three-point shooter? Is he going to develop? Because if he does, they do fit really well. Having two guys out there who can play make for each other, play make for the other guys, both guys who can play off-ball, because Cade can play off-ball really well. And if Killian can continue to shoot around where he was at the beginning of the season, maybe somewhere in the middle, like 36%, 35%, they'll fit really well because they'll have two playmakers, both guys who can play off ball. You've seen Killian start to play better moving without the ball, not just catching shooting wise.
Right.
But if it really just comes down, is Killian going to get better? Is he going to develop? Because if he does, the backcourt fits really well together, and they're going to love this backcourt for years. If he doesn't, then they have to find somewhere to go. But I feel like they're at least a year away from having to make a decision like that.
And they're extremely long.
Yeah.
And that's a problem in the NBA. When you have a backcourt and your players are long, lengthy, that is annoying to deal with.
Yeah, it's a 6'5" at least backcourt.
You saw it against Miami, even on the fast break. Killian Hayes getting his hands in, knocking the ball, stopping the fast break. They're having to reset. Defensively, he's shown it, so I don't see an issue there.
No.
But I think the one of the few things that I don't think is talked about enough is Luka Garza and what you do with him. I don't think anybody on that team, especially 7 through 12, is a lock every night, who should be playing. Do you give Garza more minutes?
It's tough. So I like Luka. I spoke with his father a few months. Yeah, I spoke with his father. He came on the podcast. I talked with him. They're a great family. I love them. They're very nice.
Yeah.
It's hard to decide though, because like in the first half, when Luka came in, he brings instant offense. He's going to bring you instant offense. It's going to happen. He's going to be able to score. He's going to play extremely hard. He's going to bring energy. He's going to bring some swagger to the floor. Like, he's going to talk trash. Like, it's all fun. But it's tough because you kind of saw it like in the second half when he did play. Miami went straight at him defensively. So it depends. If the teams are not going to make the Pistons pay for having him on the floor defensively, then he can play. But if they do decide to try and make the Pistons pay for having him on the floor defensively, that's when they run into an issue because it's hard to like really avoid that. So I think the argument right now for Luka is he's going to give you better offense. He's probably the Pistons' best screener at the big man spot right now. He brings them added spacing, needed spacing when he's on the floor. However, it's just a matter of, do you want to take the offense over the defense? Because defensively, he really is a liability right now, and it's hard to like hide that because teams go at him directly. They get him moving, they get in the pick and roll, they get him off-ball screens, they get him moving all over the place, and you can't really do that.
Right.
So it just depends which way they want to go. Right now, I mean, they don't really have any other options because they don't really have anybody.
Got Trey Lyles playing center out there.
Yeah, you got Trey Lyles out there who, he's
interesting.
He's interesting. He's a boring watch, but he does some things nice. He does some things out there. And he's not complete liability defensively. So it just comes down to what Dwayne Casey decides to do. His hands are really tied at that point. So If Luka's giving you offense, he's not, the teams aren't scoring every possession, then you can keep him out there and you can play him. But it's hard. It like varies night to night because some teams will go straight at him instantly, and then some teams may just not do it, and then you can ride him a little bit longer. But Dwayne Casey's hands are tied when it comes to that backup spot.
And I know I'm getting ahead of myself, and I say this as a Lions fan as well, but I know it's December, but we got to talk about at least the draft a little bit. I mean, we're 5-24, so I want to ask you something. Clearly, the Pistons have a lot of needs, and them being dead last in the NBA. Just a personal question. You don't have to analyze these guys, but are you a Chet Holmgren guy or a Apollo guy? Because we have these debates all the time. And what position do you think the Pistons need more, to be honest, like Chet or a guy like Paulo?
So I'm not gonna lie. I don't watch much of the draft guys. I don't watch much of college basketball, so I don't know much about that. But so to
positional needs, maybe.
Yes, I was gonna go to your second question. I don't think the Pistons should draft on position still.
Okay.
I still think they should just go best player available. I don't think they're at a spot right now where they should go positioning. The only guarantee on this roster right now, I feel like, is Cade Cunningham. He's the only guarantee. Now, I like Killian. I think he can break through and be a core part of this team, but you'd be a fool to say he is that right now and act like he's untouchable. Same thing with Sadiq. Same thing with Jeremy Grant, who may be moved before the deadline, before we even get to that point. Same with Isaiah Stewart, Saban Lee, all these guys. None of these guys are for sure going to be stick around for a long time. The only person who's safe is Cade Cunningham. So at that point, and Cade's versatile. He can play point guard, shooting guard. He can play all throughout. So that really allows you to just pick best player available and just get whatever. The Pistons lack talent. That's what they lack. They may lack a point guard, a backup center, a pick and roll guy. They lack talent just overall. They need talent on the team. So you pick best player available and then figure that out later. Because right now, like I said, they don't have any for sure's right now, and you can move anybody out the way if you can get someone who's better.
Yeah.
I think what I want to wrap up on is, where do you see this team moving forward for the rest of the year? Obviously, the record is not the prettiest, but we always talk about this narrative-wise with all the sports teams. Where are you going? What are you building towards? And with the Pistons, you got to get an idea. They have the backcourt. Garza, I think you brought up a good point. Offensively, he can give you something, but if he crashes the boards, it's 5-on-4 on the other side of the court if you don't get that rebound. So it's a really tricky scenario. He's slow with his feet. What do you see this team building into, at least for the rest of the year? What are they going to be working towards? What's the end goal? Cade clearly is going to be the one. I think that's a given. I think Dave Bing's comments were quite interesting. I didn't understand how he could even say that, but we haven't given enough Cade talk. Maybe let's do that.
Yeah,
Cade clearly, in my opinion, rookie of the year. Scotty Barnes doing a hell of a job. I'm not trying to discredit him, but sorry, I am biased. I'm giving it to Cade. What have you made of Cade so far? I mean, he stepped in and looked like a number one, year one, which you kind of expect from a number one pick. But the NBA lately, man, not all the number one picks come out and do that.
No, I think Cade has been, I talked about it for a minute. It'd be different. So when he was struggling at the beginning of the season, it'd be different if he was struggling to get his own shot or struggling to get to the spots he wanted to get to. He wasn't struggling to do that. He was just missing shots. So everyone was, at least I was, very confident in him turning it around. Now, he's obviously hitting shots now, and he looks like the number one overall pick. He has some competition for that Rookie of the Year race. You got Franz Wagner even over in Orlando. Scotty Barnes, like you mentioned. It's going to be a tight race, and even Evan Mobley, when he gets back, he was playing pretty well as well. I think Cade is, if he continues to play how he is going to be the Rookie of the Year. But I think he's been great. He's been everything the Pistons hoped for. Last night, I thought he only had 4 points, but I think that was a pivotal moment in his development. And the pivotal moment for the Pistons is that not Toronto. I thought Kyle Lowry and thought Toronto.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
But Miami, they were doubling him each time off of handoffs, off of pick and rolls. They were getting the ball out of his hands, and he could have panicked. He could have turned the ball over a ton. He had 4 turnovers, but 2 of them came late in the game. One on that offensive turnover, offensive charge, and one on the when he shuffled his feet on the trap with a minute 50 left, whatever. But up until that point, he had 10 assists to 2 turnovers.
Yep.
He could have panicked. He could have turned the ball over a lot. He could have forced shots. He only got 4 shots up in the game. He could have panicked and started forcing double-team shots and fadeaways and all that stuff, but he didn't. He looked for his teammates. He made the right play over and over. He forced 4-and-3 situations with Isaiah Stewart to where he had to either, he's rolling the basket, either has a layup or he has a guy kick out to the corner, kick out to the opposite wing. He enabled the Pistons to have those kind of opportunities. So even if he didn't get the assist, a lot of the Pistons' buckets were coming off the fact that Cade's gravity was attracting 2 people.
He's mature.
Yes, he's very mature.
just going to bring that point up, but Jalen Green, I feel like with Cade, you get that maturity and you get that already. He understands the game. Like, the Jalen Green comparison, Jalen's chucking that thing up 99% of the time. So just thank God we have him. I mean,
his maturity and his ability to see the floor, in my opinion, I haven't seen a rookie do that since LeBron James.
No, yeah, they were saying, I saw that they had him like the second best perimeter prospect before the draft in this decade. I don't know who the first was. Luka, was it Luka? I don't know which one
Probably.
it was, but they had him up there, and that's why he's very mature. He understands how to play. He's not going to play the wrong way, and you kind of heard that even before he even started playing in the offseason. He was talking about, I want to come in, I'm the number 1 overall pick, but I'm not going to come in trying to, I want all the attention, I want all the touches, I want all the shots. I'm going to come out here, I'm going to play the right way. I feel like yesterday was a very pivotal moment in his development because he's going to be double teamed. He's going to get that, especially if he plays how he's played for the Pistons the past 9 games. They're going to double him because they know they don't have much offensive talent outside of that. And instead of, like I said, panicking and forcing turnovers, forcing bad shots, he made the right play, enabled the Pistons to, play 4 and 3. I think that really helped with why Sadiq had a good game. Isaiah Stewart's playing better over the last 9 games, I believe. He's having 10 points a game and 9.9 rebounds, so basically a double-double a game. And Killian even had 11 points in the second half. So I feel like all of that is kind of like coming from Cade playing the right way, enabling his teammates. But I wanted to say one quick thing to what you said. You asked me what's the outlook for their season. I think the outlook to this season is there's 2 things I think they need to do. One, they need to bring in a center who can help them. 'Cause I feel like the main part of their season is development. I feel like right now some of their ball handlers' development is being hindered a little bit right now by not having a pick and roll guy to really play with. So if development is your number 1 goal, you need to bring in someone who's going to help them development-wise. That's one. And 2, you want to see them play more how they played yesterday, and the few games that you've seen so far this year, something that we saw a lot last year where, yes, they're losing, but they're being competitive. The blowouts, the getting destroyed, and they're looking like they don't want to play, coming out in the third quarter, they're lackadaisical. That has to stop. You want to see them compete, lose games, but compete and show that they are trying to be out there and deserve to be out there. And I feel like yesterday was a good step in that direction, hopefully what you want to see for the rest of the season.
Love it. Koo, thank you so much for joining us
appreciate
this
it, man.
morning.
Seriously.
Yeah, thank
That
you.
was
We'll have
great.
you back.
We'd love to have you back on anytime,
Yeah,
man.
let me know, man.
Let's stay in touch. That's Koo from Locked On Pistons, guys. Give him a follow on Twitter. Check out his podcast. You can check him out everywhere. Oh, man. Pistons Talk on a Monday. Isn't that
Victory
fun?
Monday. Yeah.
Victory Monday.
Victory Monday.
All right. We got to go to break. When we get back, contenders and pretenders this Monday morning in the NFL. Who's legit? Who isn't? Who is the Pittsburgh Steelers of last year?
See you,
Take
brother.
care, Koo. Thank you so much. We'll get to that after the break. Jeff, could you tell our friends about Guardian Alarm?
I can. Guardian Alarm. We talk about defense, and Lions put on quite a showing on defense, but you know who else puts on quite a showing? Guardian Alarm. Because Guardian Alarm gets it. A guard defense on and off the field helps you feel secure. Guardian Alarm has state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe, all with 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm also has convenient features that let you check in on your home, control lights and temperatures, detect smoke or carbon monoxide. It will even let you lock and unlock your doors. Call 800-STAY-OUT today. That's 800-STAY-OUT today.
Out.
Guardian Alarm has been trusted for over 90 years at keeping families safe.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
One of my favorite things to do on a Monday, especially after an NFL Sunday, is to go over contenders and pretenders. Although some of the teams on this list will be playing Monday or Tuesday, it is still important, especially after a Sunday, fresh off.
Yeah.
The wounds are still, fresh. You throw salt on them, it's going to hurt. And that's exactly what we're going to do
We're
right
going
now.
to do it right now.
Contenders, pretenders. We'll start with the New England Patriots, who took a bit of a beating to the Indianapolis Colts.
I think it was due time. Well, they've been playing
Contenders
so well.
or pretenders,
They're
Jeff?
contenders for me, definitely.
Yeah?
I mean, anytime you got Bill Belichick in that defense, listen, it was a lapse of focus last week, and I said this. Listen, they're going to lose. They got the Bills next week, which is a huge game for them. But no, I like their defense. I like Mac Jones. Yeah, he had the 2 interceptions, but we haven't seen that out of Mac Jones in quite some time. So I think they fix it. They're contenders to me. I think they're contenders.
Rookie quarterback. I know everyone in Boston is saying this is looking like 2001, whatever that stupid song is.
I don't know about Brady.
I love that thing. I'm not going to lie. I call it stupid, but it's actually hilarious. I think it's awesome. But no, I think they're pretenders. They don't have enough legitimate weapons at wide receiver. Damian Harris, hamstring issue. That is a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem.
Damian Harris healthy, they're borderline contenders, but I think they're out of the Super Bowl bubble. So no, they're not contenders. For me, Dallas Cowboys, Jeff, coming off a good win.
Yeah. No, Cowboys to me, pretenders. And that's strictly off of what I know the Cowboys to be. I know them to be an inconsistent club who has a great defense, and that might be the savior of this team. Because in past time, when Dak and this offense was inconsistent, they didn't have a guy with 10 sacks, a guy with 10 interceptions on the other side of the ball. So this is tough for me because I love Micah and I love Trayvon Diggs, but I'm going to go pretenders just because I'm not sold on Dak at least being a Super Bowl winning quarterback yet. And, it's kind of yet to be seen. So
we're disagreeing this morning.
I'll say pretenders. Oh, you're a Cowboy. You're on the Cowboys.
Yeah, we're coming out disagreeing.
I would have never thought you'd pick them over the Patriots.
I'll tell you what, man.
Okay,
I'll tell you
I
what.
got you.
This is the thing about Dallas. They've got playmakers on the offensive line, at the running back position, the wide receiver position, the quarterback position, the defensive line, the linebacker position, and the secondary. Not many teams in the NFL can say that. Micah Parsons, easily Defensive Player of the Year if you wanted to vote him as a rookie. Trayvon Diggs, can't stop picking people off. Unbelievable. Dak Prescott, good quarterback. Get the run game going, he's an even better quarterback. I don't know. I think they're contenders. I really do. I think that roster is too damn good not to be contenders.
But they're also too damn good not to get blown out to the Broncos, though. But,
yeah, I know.
But I get you.
Yeah,
I get you.
Things happen. A team that shocked a lot of people in their home win, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Contenders or pretenders? I'm going to start on this one. Because last year they started 11-0. And I came out and said they were the most fraudulent team in the NFL. And of course it worked out that way. They lost 5 of their last 6. Mm-hmm. God, that felt good being right about that. Having said that, I think they are pretenders, unfortunately.
We agree, yeah.
The defense, legit. But Najee Harris, 10 carries, 14 yards. Your offense is miserable. The receivers can't get open. And, I may have left out a pretty important part. Ben Roethlisberger is your quarterback. Case done. Pretenders.
Yeah, you summed it up perfectly. Listen, I like Mike Tomlin, of course, but yeah, Ben Roethlisberger at your quarterback position. You can't run the ball. Defense is put in too many tough spots, and I think they started the game yesterday with 4 field goals. So good luck winning a Super Bowl with that. I got them as pretenders. So sorry, Steeler fans.
Absolutely. Chiefs. I think this is an easy one.
Easy one.
Contenders.
Yeah, picked them to be in the Super Bowl, so I got to say.
I will say,
yeah,
the Chiefs, 3 points when Darwin James was in the game. The rest of their points came in after he left the game. And Travis Kelce's yards all came after he was gone. So, look, they are contenders. They have Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, back-to-back AFC champions. They have to be contenders. But they're not the contenders you may think they are. Let me say that. They are not the best team in the AFC. Moving on. A personal favorite, a team that I share, a deep part of my heart. Indianapolis Colts. Started the season 2-5.
Yeah.
I said they turned around their season. 8-6 now. Dominating win on Thursday night. Indianapolis, Jeff. Pretenders, contenders.
Contenders. Anytime you can run the ball like that and play defense, Carson Wentz not making too many mistakes, you can beat anybody in the league. So I like Frank Reich. I like what they're doing in Indianapolis. Adam, I'll give you credit, man. You called it. You called it early on this team, and they're too good of a team to be 2-5 early in the season. You were right on it. And Jonathan Taylor looks like he should be in that MVP conversation, and no doubt, as long as Carson Wentz isn't making mistakes, which that's easy to say, as long as your quarterback's not making mistakes, but Carson doesn't put him in bad positions, I think they can beat anybody. So I like the Colts.
All right, here's where we disagree. Pretenders. Michael Pittman,
I don't get
the way he got ejected was for me a real cause for concern. He's their number one wide receiver. You can't be leaving the game like that. And I may be very petty right now because I did start him in fantasy football. But damn it, I don't care. They're pretenders to me. Look, Carson Wentz did show moments of inability to throw the ball accurately. He should have been picked off 2 or 3 times in that game. The Colts won. But
shows they're a good team.
For me, not pretenders, honestly.
Yeah, I feel you.
For me, they're not contenders. I can't. I don't see it. I don't see it. Moving on to a team that I think impressed everybody in the NFL on Sunday, the Arizona Cardinals. They lost. No. Excuse me. They didn't lose. They got mauled and dominated by the Detroit Lions. They fall to 10-4. Now the Rams are within 1 game if they are able to win on Tuesday. Contenders, pretenders. I am so happy to say this.
If you say pretender,
the Arizona Cardinals are absolute frauds. Pretenders. Get them away from me. No DeAndre Hopkins for the rest of the season. They will lose out. They will finish 10-7, and they will be going home in the wild card, and likely Cliff Kingsbury will lose his job. Book it. They play the Colts, who they will lose to. They play the Cowboys, who they will lose to. And they finish the season against the Seattle Seahawks, who are no pushover. Watch out, Arizona. You may finish 10-7. Not you may, you will. For me, pretenders. Kyler Murray, love him. Making way too many mistakes.
Yeah.
Zero fundamentals.
Third-year quarterback.
Playing with zero fundamentals right now. Sorry, that's on coaching. That's on the player. They got to get their act together.
Yeah,
for me, pretenders.
I got them as pretenders, and this is tough because obviously they're a great football team up until the last couple weeks, and they've been struggling. And we look at Cliff Kingsbury's record in December and January. I believe it's like 5-8. It's absolutely atrocious. That shows they collapsed towards the end of the season, and they have a tough 3-game schedule coming up, so possibly could lose all 3 of them. So I got them as pretenders, even though all year I was very high on them. It's reality. So it's pretenders. Who's up next? Who we got?
Up next, this is, I think, probably the team everybody can agree with are contenders, the Green Bay Packers. Guys, they just won the NFC North.
Clinched the playoff.
3rd straight year. They're likely to go on and get the bye week. Look, Maz was on this early. Packers may be going to the Super Bowl. And I don't think they're going. I think they're winning it. They are playing the best football out of everybody. Now, that could change in 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
They could fall apart. They could play bad in the playoffs. Who knows? All I know is right now this is the best team in football.
Definitely.
They absolutely are. So they're contenders, Jeff.
Yeah, well, they're contenders easily. And because the Packers, number one, that A.J. Dillon emergence this year, I mean, it was obviously Aaron Jones. You bring in A.J. Dillon. This year, it's really a 2-man backfield with the loss of Jamal Williams. They're deadly. They can run the ball. They have receivers. Obviously, Devontae Adams. You got different guys on the outside. And their defense, they didn't play well, like obviously, against Tyler Huntley, but just all season, they've played great. So they're a complete team. So I like them.
The last team on this list, we have to cut it a little short. Got shut out yesterday. And, you know, there's a guy with a beard that does the morning show, a full beard, I should say. Very dark.
Yeah.
Typically says a lot of things people don't like.
Yeah.
Some guy I know.
It's got nice hair.
He said that the Saints would win. And that he was all in on the Saints.
Okay. That was...
And I told you guys on Friday.
Okay,
nobody wanted to listen. And
did.
I told you.
You did.
And I told you they were 3-0 against Tom Brady. And I told you that they always gave him fits since he came to Tampa Bay.
I turned that game off.
And lo and behold, they shut him out. Now, I didn't expect a shutout, don't get me wrong.
And I didn't expect all those injuries either. Like, everyone started dying around him. I was like, what's going on? What is
all
happening?
I know is that that was a good game.
It was.
For the New Orleans Saints.
It was.
But for the Bucs, I will say this. You have Tom Brady. You are always a contender. So even if they lost really bad and pathetically the way they did on Sunday night,
right,
I can look past that because they have the anomaly of all the NFL, which is Tom Brady. So they'll figure it out. They'll be contenders. Whether or not they get to the Super Bowl, I think I could care less at this moment. But I'm not going to write them off. They have Tom Brady. You on the same page with me here?
Yeah, no, 100%. I didn't lose no faith in the Bucs. Just watching last night, it was the weirdest game I've ever seen. I mean, what was that? The first time Brady's been shut out in his
15
career?
years.
15 years? Oh
255 starts, consecutive scoring.
You just don't see that. So it was a good game, though. Good win by the Saints.
It was impressive. We got to go to break. When we get back, how far away are the Detroit Lions from competing? We'll talk about that next year on the Morning Woodward Show. But before we go, I got to tell you about our good friends at the Full Link Warehouse in Hamtramck. Host your corporate party event, team building event, or just come in with family and friends. There are 2 ways to play: $10 unlimited open play, or reserve a private lane reservation like we did for the Woodward Sports All-In. It was a great time, guys. A bunch of beers, over 100 beers at the facility, $2 Mystic beer machine, multiple bars throughout the facility, and of course you can bring in your own food. You want to carry in pizza, you want to cater it, be my guest. Whether you're pizza, wings, hell, you're a vegan, I don't care. Eat whatever you want. Do it at the Folling Warehouse in Hamtramck. Visit follingwarehouse.com.
Hi, I'm Cade Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Good morning, 9 o'clock, top of the hour here on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you to everybody joining in. We just had Q Khalil from Locked On Pistons in, Kory Woods discussing the Detroit Lions. What an impressive win Sunday was. But let's look past Sunday now. How far away are the Detroit Lions from contending, Jeff?
Well,
in the NFC.
Okay, in the NFC, well, let's just stick with the NFC North, and let's look at that for a second, because I want to acknowledge that as long as Aaron, it's a lot to do with what Aaron does next year, and many believe he's going to stay with the Green Bay Packers, and you understand that, listen, Kirk Cousins in Minnesota, they're going to be trying to get back to where they are known to be, and that's in playoff contention every year. So it depends. Obviously, the Bears are getting better with Justin Fields. I think the Lions, they're going to have to get the quarterback. They're going to have to get the quarterback, whether that's, I don't think that's Jared Goff, although he has played better since, acquiring Josh Reynolds. You think ideally you add more wide receivers, T. Jackson comes back, this O-line, that he looks better, but you need a quarterback. And you need a quarterback that you can be confident in to win any division. I mean, look around the league. The Kyler Murrays of the world, I mean, he's losing games, but you look, Lamar Jackson for a period of time was winning his division. Young quarterbacks, Josh Allen for a short period, now it's Mac Jones. So you need to find your quarterback, number one, because Jared Goff is not going to win this division, let alone the NFC North. So that's where it starts. But defensively, they have pieces. And the more defensive talent they add with Aaron Glenn, I have confidence they can take on any team, any given Sunday, any given Monday, any given Thursday. It just comes down to getting that quarterback position right. And we talk about this, Adam. Don't reach this draft. No one's worried about it. Next year, if you have to go into the 2023 draft looking for a quarterback, do just that. And once they hit the quarterback, everything will work itself out. I believe Dan's a good enough coach to at least be here, and try and compete for the division. But Adam, it starts in that the NFC North. And what does Aaron Rodgers do? Because if he stays in Green Bay the rest of his career, it's gonna be a long couple of years for you.
I am not surprised, and I won't be surprised if next year they finish second in the division. And again, Aaron Rodgers has a big role to play in all this. But even if Aaron Rodgers does leave, the Packers are an organization that have always figured it out. They will be just fine. Whether it's a one-year lapse or maybe they continue in stride. Matt LaFleur, people forget. I love people. People forget that against Kansas City with Jordan Love, they were moving up and down the field at will.
Yeah.
With Jordan Love. Just they couldn't convert in the red zone. And he looked awful. But they were still able to move the ball in Kansas City. Let's not forget that. I think they'll be just fine. But I really want to focus on the Lions here. I think 2 years is realistic.
Oh, yeah.
One is optimistic / delusional. But I think 2 is realistic, given the nature of the NFL. You can turn things around quickly, and more quickly than you even imagine, if you just make the right decisions in the offseason. Whether it's hitting on the draft, free agents, re-signing the right players, putting together trade packages, whatever it may be. We talk about how far off are the Tigers. Well, I think they win the pennant this year. How far off are the Wings? I think they're a playoff team next year. How far off are the Pistons? I think they are Eastern Conference contenders 4 years from now. Contenders. I mean, legitimate 50-win team probably But, you know, they could be a playoff team next year.
You think so?
This is the first time I look at the Lions and I say, you know what? I saw the identity of this team on Sunday. I can get behind what you showed me on Sunday. I can get behind an organized football team, a one that overcame its own mistakes, forced turnovers, and didn't make mistakes throwing the football. Special teams, rock solid. You did the little things right on Sunday. And I saw what they were building towards. So it wouldn't surprise me if 2 years from now, they are contenders in their own division. Having said that, I think there's a big X factor and really a cloud that's looming over all this. Who's the quarterback, right? Everybody wants to talk about getting the next guy. Are we sure Brad Holmes doesn't want to move off of Jared Goff? Are we sure that he doesn't re-up him and sign him to a 3-year, $23 million annual contract, which is very friendly in the quarterback market? Are we not sure of that? Given the Goff you saw on Sunday, given if he plays like that, relatively similar, I want to say, for a majority of the season next year, given that this team will be better than what they are next year, are you sure Brad Holmes is moving off? Are you sure he's going to invest in a rookie and deal with that contract and that inexperience, or he's going to go with the guy he can likely re-sign for a 2 to 3 year deal, $20 million, not much guaranteed that he can move off of?
Especially if the market's not calling him.
Are you sure he's not going to do that with Jared Goff? And I really want to get into that more maybe later in the week and as we progress through the season, what they're actually going to do with Goff. But guys, listen, we live in a world, excuse me, I refuse to sit here every day and say 1 + 1 is 3 every single day. And I refuse to see or willingly accept new information, new data, and a new perspective. I won't do that. I refuse to do that. And I've told you from the beginning, if Dan Campbell works out, nobody will be happier than me. But yesterday was the first time, and you have to admit it as well, you saw this team play with an identity. Defensively, we've seen it all year.
Yeah.
I don't think defensively you were shocked by it. Offensively, you saw it. You saw it be put together. You saw the deception. You saw the play action plays downfield. You saw Goff step up into the pocket with confidence. And you saw the O-line do what it's been doing a majority of the year.
Without Ragnow.
Without Ragnow. And the run game produce with a guy off the street.
Greg Reynolds, yeah.
Thank you. I see an identity. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't move off Jared Goff. If he continues to play like similar to this. It doesn't have to be at that level. Don't be surprised if Brad Holmes says, you know what? I'm going to sign this guy to a 2-3 year deal. We're going to pay him about $23 million. It's a very friendly contract given the quarterback market. I can still maneuver with the salary cap. It's not going to cost me an arm and a leg for a quarterback. I can still sign defensive players. I can still sign skill position players. Are they going to move off Jared Goff?
Can I ask you this? If you're Brad Holmes and you were part of the Los Angeles Rams, especially when they went to the Super Bowl and the game where Cam Akers ran them to a victory when Wolford played, what do you think in your back of your head? I'm not asking you to play GM, but let's just say you're human, you think. So you're Brad Holmes, you're thinking, is it a question, can I win a championship with Jared Goff? Is that really what comes down to signing him?
So
or you
that's
just,
where
he's
intent
consistent?
Is. What's your intent, right?
Right.
So my belief, and my personal belief, is I'd rather go in as a GM, me personally, and have the intention of delivering a Super Bowl in a 4, 6, 7 year window. That'd be my plan, given the circumstances of the team. Right? And given the circumstances of the Lions, you really can't expect a Super Bowl in the first 3, 4 years. But you can build towards one. Year 5, 6, 7, depending on what you're building, right? Having said that, what do? I don't know if Jared Goff is a Super Bowl winner, but he's a proven division winner. He's a proven conference winner. He's won that NFC title game,
playoff
right?
Games, yeah.
So it is there. But I don't love Jared Goff. And that's me. That's my personal feeling, right? But Brad Holmes was a part of the team that brought Jared Goff in.
But he's also part of the team that got rid of him.
Detroit.
True, and he did. Yeah, I guess you're right.
And it won't surprise me if next year Jared Goff leads his team to a 7-10 record, 8-9, and they say, you know what? We're going to franchise tag him. Or you know what? We're going to re-sign him for 1 more year. We're not ready to move off him. And who knows? They may still draft a quarterback. But Sunday, you saw an identity. And you saw what the team is working towards. Don't tell me you saw it all year. You didn't. Outside of the defensive play. You didn't see a single thing where you said, you know what? 2-3 years from now, this translates. The Vikings game doesn't translate.
No.
Neither did Pittsburgh. Neither did Denver.
Nope.
Neither did Philly, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Green Bay, etc., etc., San Francisco. So, do you keep Goff? And how confident? Chat, I would look, guys, if you want to call in, be my guest. 313-552-6322. Call in. Do you think the Lions get rid of Goff? Are you sure that they don't re-up him? Call in. 313-552-6322. Leave your comments in the chat. We'll take both. How confident are you that they are going to move off of Jared Goff? I'm going to sit here today, Monday, and say, I don't think it's definitive. I really don't think it's definitive. Jeff, what do you think?
No, I don't think it's definitive either. I mean, you brought up a great point. And number one, it's Brad Holmes' guy. We get that. But his play over the last couple of weeks is making a case for him. And I'm sorry, guys, he's around next year as well. So he even has longer to make a case. And if he comes out next year, they go 8-9. He has a good-looking touchdown and interception ratio. And you could sign him for the right price. That's important. I see people talking in the chat, and I think that's key because if Jared Goff's whatever he's demanding, I think he's self-aware enough to know what he's worth in this market, but you never know. If the price is right at him, I think he provides I guess what's the right word for it? Consistency or just to keep your level-headed, your franchise. You have Jared Goff at quarterback. Maybe. It depends. And it's a hard question to ask because you don't know how Brad Holmes feels about him. We know how we talk about Jared Goff all the time, but like you said, Brad Holmes might like him and might think, hey, maybe I can get to a Super Bowl with this guy if we build the right team around him. So to me, you want to find that quarterback in the draft the next 2 years. I think, listen, I'm a big Bryce Young guy. There's tons of quarterbacks you can look at. It's not just Bryce Young, but I would like a new quarterback. But like I said, I'm not going to judge Brad if he likes Jared. Obviously, he sees something I may not see.
You have to judge him, right? So, guys,
if it doesn't work out, I will judge him.
Look,
I got to judge him.
Right now, Brad Holmes has two things in his pocket that absolutely and ultimately save his job. And so does Dan Campbell to an extent, right? Jared Goff is their quarterback, so he hasn't technically went out and gotten his guy. And in terms of Brad Holmes' case, he didn't hire Dan Campbell, so he has that fallback as well.
True.
So do you re-sign Jared Goff after 2023? 313-552-6322.
Call in. Let's talk about it.
Do you re-sign him? And I don't think it's crazy to say, you know what? It might not be a bad idea.
I like that. Steve-O brought this up. I can't believe I didn't think about this already. It's a great point. The Goff being the Alex Smith to the Chiefs kind of thing. Maybe you keep Goff, and eventually, if you have a better option, he succeeds Jared Goff.
Steve, that is not only a great point, that really looks very similar to Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, why was Andy Reid allowed to stay in Kansas City for so long? Well, one, he had track record. Obviously, he had a history with the Eagles. But he was taking you to the playoffs and getting you into the divisional round. And, you would lose. But everyone in Kansas City knew they were a quarterback away. And they hit a home run. They really did.
Yep.
All fell in at the right time. And, again, I don't think it's far-fetched to say I wouldn't be surprised if Brad Holmes re-ups Jared Goff after 2023. I don't think it's that far out of the stretch of imagination. I really don't. We got to get to break. When we get back, we're going to go a bit around the league and preview what's next for some of these teams. Implications from their wins or losses. I'm curious to see what Jeff thinks as well. But before we go to break, Jeff, could you tell everybody where you get your hair done?
Yes, I can. Lady Jane's, guys. Let's be honest. Football season's already upon us. We know this. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. And get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. You walk in, you relax, you get to sit down in one of the comfy chairs. Ladies take care of you. When you walk out, you're handsome and clean. And your hair will be game ready. So get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. You walk in anytime because it is wicked awesome.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show. Jeff, Frady, joining me this morning. Fish, and of course, Alex in the TD booth. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. Appreciate you all. Really do. Speaking of somebody we appreciate, outside of family, friends, relatives, people close to us, Aaron Glenn. Just how good of a job has he done this year, Jeff?
Oh,
and
my goodness.
I think where I want to start with this is saying, what's the definition of good coaching? Coaching up players better than what you expect them to do. And with Aaron Glenn, this defense has been consistently the X factor all year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think anybody would have said that before the season. No. What your thoughts on Aaron Glenn so far?
Aaron Glenn has not only succeeded expectations, but he's earned himself an interview in the future, honestly, because that's what teams are looking for. And not even, we talk about leader. The leader amongst men term gets thrown out a lot. And with Aaron Glenn, I mean, this is a man. Let me just describe what he walked into. This man walked into a team, the Detroit Lions being that team, that had the worst defense last year in franchise history, no notable free agency moves. Guys like Romeo Okwara, Julian Okwara, Trey Flowers, Jeff Okudah, Jerry Jacobs, Tracy Walker, none played yesterday. And not only that you didn't have the cap to make any moves, there wasn't barely any marquee players on this roster to begin with. So Aaron Glenn walked into this situation, into a essentially rebuild. And what he's done this year, getting guys to buy in to whatever he's preaching, and same with other guys. Aubrey Pleasant, give him credit as well, cornerback coach. So Aaron Glenn he's done such a great job, and honestly, we've been talking about him. We've been reiterating this for weeks, and that guy, enjoy him while he lasts. I was going to mention this to Kory because he tweeted it out yesterday, and he couldn't have said it perfectly. Enjoy Aaron Glenn while you have him, and because in the future he's going to be getting interviews, and I'm curious, Adam, to see what Aaron Glenn in this defense looks like when you actually get talent around him. What happens when you get a Kavon or an Aiden Hutchinson? What happens if you get guys in free agency? What happens if you get those guys that you can develop? Because look what Aaron Glenn did in New Orleans. He had guys like Marshawn Lattimore, Marcus Williams, and he turned them into great players. I mean, I'm not saying they were already great players before, but he helped mentor them. And that's what I'm really disappointed, honestly, this year with Jeff Okudah, because you're hoping he kind of took him under his wing. You're hoping Jeff Okudah made those strides. Obviously, the Achilles injury, he wasn't able to do that, but Amani making the jump he's made. I mean, the guy, we know he's a top corner in this league, but this year he's putting it on paper. 6-7 interceptions on the year. Defensively, guys are getting better. Levi, Aleem McNeil, although the stat sheet isn't always there, they're effective. And without Romeo, without Julian, both the Okwara brothers, you didn't have your best safety yesterday and Tracy Walker. You had to move Will Harris to cornerback, a natural safety, and you're still able to put on that performance against the best, one of the best, not the best, let me watch myself, one of the best teams in the NFL. I mean, my God. And we talk about the offense and Jared Goff enough, but no, Aaron Glenn has earned he's earned my respect the first 5 games of the season. The guy's been getting the most out of everybody on the defensive side of the ball, but yesterday, Adam, was a statement, because I don't know if anybody else could have gotten what they had on the field. The undrafted free agents, the guys, unproven guys that weren't even looked at by teams, practice squad members. I mean, making plays. So I can't say enough good things about Aaron Glenn, and you better enjoy him while he's here, because someone's going to be interested in him in the future for sure. Head coaching role.
It's fascinating. When's the last time you felt that good about a coordinator in Detroit? Honestly. Anything? Names? Anybody? When's the last time you felt that good about having that guy as your coordinator, whether offense or defense?
It's been a while, man.
Look, I mean, to say impressed would discredit just how much of a, I don't want to say an impact. There's so many words to describe just how good of a job Aaron Glenn has done this year. He really has. Unbelievable. Really unbelievable. What's next, though? That's the tricky part. Is he getting looks at the end of the year for a coaching job?
Maybe not yet, because he is a first-time defensive coordinator. So maybe in the future, definitely. In the future, definitely.
And my personal belief is he's not going to... I don't think he'll draw enough attention.
Yeah.
But by the end of 23, I think he will.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows what happens by then. But I think... I haven't seen this good of a defensive coordinator, I want to say, since what? Terrell Austin? Top 5 defense? Early, mid-2000s, right?
Yeah, you haven't seen... I mean...
It's been a minute. It really has been a minute. But that was something. And it's been something all year. You know? This isn't a fluke. Offensively, one could make the argument that maybe yesterday was a fluke offensively. Defensively, you can't say that. They have a body of work now for 15 weeks. You cannot discredit this defense. You can't. He's done too damn good of a job. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I want to move on to something else that happened over the weekend. The Detroit Pistons played.
They did.
Beat the Miami Heat, although a injured Miami Heat.
Yeah, yeah.
Koo talked about it earlier. Cade Cunningham being double-teamed so much. Your thoughts, one, on Cade's play, but two, just how important it was to end that 14-game losing streak.
It was a big monkey, and they talked about it after the game. Sadiq talked about it, a big monkey off their shoulders, or big monkey off their back, because they had it along. They had 15 games in a row, almost, it was going to be about to be 15, and they finally cut it short. They get the win. Yes, it was to a Miami team. It was missing Jimmy Butler. They were missing Bam Adebayo, missing Tyler Hero, 6th Man of the Year candidate. They were missing a lot of players. So, but they got to win, and you got to give them credit. They're a well-coached team in Miami Heat, and yes, the Pistons play better when they're at home. And they find a way to win. And Koo mentioned it, and he hit it right on the head when he mentioned Cade Cunningham and his ability to just process information. I mean, this guy, obviously, we know he played quarterback in high school, but he was getting double-teamed all game. And that was Eric Spoelstra and the Miami Heat's plan coming out of the gate. Double-team Cade Cunningham, double-team him, and make him get the ball out of his hands or make bad decisions. He didn't make many bad decisions, and he had 10 assists. So that's what you want to see. And it was nice to see Cade get tested. Honestly, it was. Because all year, it seemed like teams are kind of just letting him get whatever he wanted. The Miami Heat, Eric Spoelstra was like, hell to the no. We're doubling him every time he gets the ball. And I thought he responded well. And Killian obviously put up some points. But Sadiq I want to talk about, because third game in a row scoring at least 20 points. Finally, we've been waiting for this. We are Sadiq fans, and we knew he would have this breakout. Just didn't know it would take this long. But I couldn't have been happier from at least the progression from all the players this year, man. And Cade being able to share the ball and be a leader in that scenario, give credit to him, because that you don't see that in a lot of 19-year-olds, man.
He needed that.
Yeah,
and so did Sadiq. Sadiq Bey really needed to put together a few games where you're like, that's the guy. That's the guy we saw last year. That's the guy we expected this year. Hitting his shots, getting to the paint. And you know what's funny? Watching Sadiq Bey, and I want your opinion on this, Jeff. He's extremely physical.
Oh, yeah.
He's more physical than you'd expect from a two-guard, right? I mean, someone so skilled, someone as skilled as Sadiq Bey, you would think running off the ball. Quick jump. No, he gets to the paint. He attacks. And it doesn't always work, and it hasn't worked, especially during his slump.
Yeah.
But the last 3 games, he's looked really good.
Shots falling. Finally.
Shots falling, and the confidence is there.
There you go.
And I saw something funny on Twitter. I think it was, fire the guy, whoever he is, that didn't tell Sadiq Bey to wear a headband all year. Because since he's worn the headband, he's been dominating.
Yeah.
That is the truth.
It is.
I thought it was hilarious.
Sometimes you just need, in basketball, you just need a refresh. Like maybe wearing the headband, wearing the arm sleeve, changing up your look. I mean, obviously it's worked for Sadiq, man, and I couldn't be more prouder, at least from a fan perspective, because you're waiting on this. I mean, Sadiq has all the physical tools to put up 15 to 16 points. He has all the physical tools. He can defend. He can shoot the 3-ball. He can attack the rim. I mean, you saw him in fast break. The Pistons did a great job, and Dwayne Casey said this yesterday, making offense out of defense. And we didn't see it. They don't have an identity, obviously, but if you can play that good of defense on teams and produce offense in fast break, situations, Sadiq was striving. I mean, the guy, he's athletic, and the headband, if you could shoot like that with a headband, you're going to have to wear a headband pretty much every game because he looks great. And that's what you want to see out of this team. And when they all play well, they find a way to win. So it's always good news.
All right. And not so good news. The Red Wings are shut down for the rest of the holiday season.
Yeah.
And Steve Yzerman brought up a really good point. Why are we testing asymptomatic players and even the mild symptom ones who show maybe signs of a slight cold? Nothing serious? Why are we testing them so regularly? And why are we shutting down our own game on asymptomatic positives? What are we doing? Fish, I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
It's kind of an easy answer. They're testing vaccinated players to know whether the unvaccinated players are affected by it. Because if you don't test the vaccinated players, because all the vaccinated and unvaccinated players
are
still
testing vaccinated players often.
Well, yeah.
Not weekly, bi-weekly. This is every day, every other day.
Well, they're testing them as much as they are the unvaccinated players because they want to make sure that they're able to be around each other.
That is problematic because
Yes.
we've seen the amount of positive testing go up.
Yes.
And when the testing is positive, you're forcing yourself to shut down, although this person is asymptomatic and is vaccinated. What was the point of mandating a vaccine if you're going to shut down your own game because the vaccinated players are testing positive and are asymptomatic? Can someone explain that to me?
It beats me, man. It really does. And I think Yzerman hit it right on the head. I saw the NFL starting to do this now. The NFL is going to stop, at least testing players that are asymptomatic, but they test positive. And I think around the league, like NFL, NBA, and NHL, I think they're all start copying that image. Because why are you testing guys if they're asymptomatic, they're vaccinated, but they're positive? I don't get it.
Comment, because they can spread it. Well, obviously.
Yeah, and to make sure the unvaccinated players don't get it.
Then why are you playing? And why did you mandate a vaccine? The point of, again, not my words, guys. The NHL's words. And I hope they learn from the NFL. Why are you mandating a vaccine in your sports league when the vaccine doesn't prevent positive testing and could still shut down your NHL games? Why? Where does that make sense? I'm with Yzerman on this. I don't understand what they're doing. This doesn't make sense to me. Someone needs to explain to me where they're going with this. I don't see it. I don't. The NFL's doing just fine.
Yeah.
But even the NFL's like, you know what? Yeah. Like, we kind of messed up with Baker. He's asymptomatic. But the NFL's also done studies where they're testing immediately after the game. And they're trying to find out, like, are people, or excuse me, not immediately after the game, but the day after or the second day after. And they're trying to see if on-field physical interactions are spreading the virus. And for some reason, the data's coming out where it doesn't. And that's not me talking. That's just what the NFL is reporting. How does that make any sense? How? And how are you going to mandate players? Again, mandate players if they can still miss games and they could still punish their teams. Why?
So I think they're trying to make it so that if they 100% mandate it, then it doesn't matter because everyone's vaccinated. But with people being vaccinated and non-vaccinated...
But even if you're vaccinated, you can still catch the virus.
Yeah.
And we've seen that. Like, even people here...
But they're saying if everyone's vaccinated, then you can't hospitalize the person. So if I pass it to you, then it doesn't do anything.
No, so that's... But no. Because if we're all vaccinated in this room, it doesn't matter if I have COVID, right? Because
That's what
the vaccinated testing so far, people who are vaccinated, typical, normal product subject person, it prevents people from having it really bad, or that could lead to death.
Or have it at all.
Right.
That is a fact. The problem with vaccinated to unvaccinated, you don't know how the unvaccinated person will respond. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
But when you mandate the league vaccine, and everybody is playing, 99%, they're all vaccinated, why are you still shutting down games? Why? Why? I just, again, I'm asking questions.
Yeah, it's good questions.
I didn't go to med school. From the data I've been given, from the CDC, from our own government, from our health officials, from the leagues themselves. You've told me that 99% of your players are vaccinated. Cool. You've also told me that the vaccine prevents you from significantly being harmed by COVID. And, of course, the crazy alternative, potentially dying, which we've seen a lot of people do, right? The vaccine eliminates that factor. Great. What's the problem with them playing? If they're vaccinated, what is the problem? They catch a small cold? I have a small cold right now. I'm fine. What's the problem? I'm not attacking anybody.
No.
Not attacking what you believe. I'm just saying, if we're going to preach a mandate and we're going to preach a vaccine that clearly is working, why are we preventing the vaccinated players from playing? And why are we shutting down these teams? I don't get it.
And I hate to be that guy too, but especially when all the athletes are probably 22 to 35 years old.
Best shape in their life.
Best shape of their life, all vaccinated. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but it's the reality. So I have no idea, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm not here to answer questions. But I think it's an interesting question to at least ask and just have the discussion. No one's judging anything. It just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. So that's what brings the conversation into play. If the NFL is going to change it, what do other leagues do? And listen, I think hockey's probably up next because look at what's going on right now in all leagues, canceling games. This is like last year all over again. I mean, NFL is moving.
They're doing it to themselves. It's not even public pressure. That's the funny part. They are They are smacking themselves on the hand for no reason. What are you doing? What are you doing? The vaccine. Let's just use the MLB, NHL, NBA, and NFL. Let's just use the 4 sports, major sports. All right? You mandated the vaccine. Great. No games should be moved or canceled. Why are you moving them and canceling them? Because they're on the COVID-19 list? Why? If they are vaccinated and the data proves that vaccinated to vaccinated is not harmful, why is it a problem?
Because everyone's not vaccinated. That's what it comes back to.
Then why mandate the vaccine like they did in the NHL and have strict border constraints? What again? Where are we going?
But the border is the government. That's not the National Hockey League.
Even if you're playing against an unvaccinated player, that is their decision, right?
Right.
Now, that's not even my problem. My problem isn't even with the unvaccinated players, Fish. My problem is that the vaccinated players are being punished. Why? Why?
Should have never got it.
Why is Odell Beckham being punished? Why is Baker being punished? Why are these players being punished for being vaccinated? Why? Let them go out on the field. Let them play against unvaccinated players. They're going to be okay. They got the vaccine, right? Isn't that the point?
Well, they get to stay out a lesser amount of time.
Of course. But the whole idea behind the vaccine is that it prevents you from being severely ill. And you're disciplining those who are vaccinated? Come on, be better. I don't get it. I'm waiting for the answers, but be better. We got to go to break. When we get back, this is going to be fun. Around the NFL, a little bit.
Yeah.
And we'll probably touch more on the vaccine after. I want to continue it just for a little bit, and then we'll go around the league, and then we got Mailbag at 9:51, so get your questions ready. But before we go, I got to tell you about Gypsy Vodka. Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest tasting vodka on the market. Gypsy is gluten-free, corn distilled 6 times using artisan spring water. Support our local brothers today. Oh, you were late on it, Fish. I was waiting for you, buddy.
I know.
Try a bottle today. Ask for it by the name of Gypsy. And, of course, as always, my dear friends, drink responsibly.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Clearly, this whole vaccine drama, dilemma, whatever you want to call it, is pulverizing. But guys, this is simple. I'm sorry. When you ask for public trust, when you ask the people that work for you their trust, you have to be transparent. And I've yet to see the league be transparent. I don't get it. I'm waiting for it. How is it fair that you ask of me to be vaccinated? Yeah, I can miss a game that would directly impact my football team. Well, there's unvaccinated. Well, okay. Then mandate it. Don't mandate, but then make exceptions, and then we go back and forth, or you just can't play in this state and that state in this country. Can we just get on the same page that if you're vaccinated, you should not be punished on the field? Can we just start there? And if you want to punish the Tyler Bertuzzis of the world, the Kirk Cousins, I don't care. Be my guest, your league, do what you want with it. But don't come out and put this whole trust mandate vaccine, it's going to solve our problems issue, we're not going to miss any games. And then you self-punish yourself because you're over-testing people. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't get it. I don't get it. No one knows, right? No one really has the answer, do they? We're not far out of the COVID, life cycle, guys. It's been not even 2 years. It's still very raw, still very new. You have the flu going around right now. You have common colds. You have COVID
Which,
cases.
by the way, the flu is back.
And this
it's
is the season
what
people go home and visit their families as well.
And can your testing differentiate between the flu and COVID? Can it?
Well, it does.
To an extent. There are a lot of false positives too, right?
There is.
And it's tricky. And I'm not trying to disprove or call out, medicine and science where it's going. No, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But what's super important here is when you ask for public trust, when you ask for trust from your players, Baker Mayfield, take the vaccine, you'll play 17 games this year. You won't miss a beat.
Buy in. You're the quarterback. Be a leader.
And they do it.
They do it.
And then you're punishing them.
Yeah.
And then you make up for it and you move the game to Monday. Really? The NHL is doing it the worst. I'm not even going to knock the NFL. The NHL has the worst system of everybody. I don't get it. And you're talking about some of the most fit human beings in the world. The most athletic, in shape, access to 5-star chef, dietary plans, nutritionists, facilities that they work out in daily, multiple times per day. And that's the reality. But there's a very special someone joining us right now who hosted the post-game show this weekend, Pop Some Champagne. And that is Stick from the post-game line show. Stick, my friend, how are you?
I am living the good life, man. It's the holiday week.
I like the sweater.
Just got the biggest gift I could ever get on a Sunday, watching my team play a complete football game. Mm-hmm. We did pop champagne, this time with sparklers, because we thought, a 10-win team deserves sparklers. And it was just a good time at the Brass Rail, man. Watching that game, Anson asked me a really good question. What was my favorite part of the game? And it took me about 3 minutes to, play back the game in my head, and finally I came up with the moment that I loved and I thought was really significant for the culture moving forward. Jared Goff gets hurt, goes out for a play, Tim Boyle comes in for one play, then Jared Goff comes back in and the crowd cheers. 2-3 weeks ago, that would not have happened. Nobody would have gave a damn if Jared Goff came back in the game, but the way they were playing yesterday, I was like, oh my God, like the city's actually showing love to this guy, and it's going to bring the best out of him. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. So I'm just very happy right now. It's a victory Monday, man. Our second in, 2-3 weeks?
3 weeks, yeah. Second in 3 weeks. We talked about it earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if Jared Goff signs a 1-2 year deal after 2023.
Oof. All right.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's Brad Holmes' guy. If he plays like that well into next season, do you want to invest in a rookie quarterback and start all over technically, or do you want to do the Andy Reid concept? Alex Smith, draft a quarterback, set him for a year, and then move off of Goff. I mean, I totally see that working.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, the Goff thing will work itself out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how that's going to play. This is just one game, so I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We've seen a larger sample size of him not doing it, but I think that moment was significant, and I also think the most significant thing I took away from this game is our offensive line is real. Because everybody's talking about Reynolds and the running backs and like, hey, we're running the ball. We can do that when you have an offensive line that is moving the line of scrimmage 3 yards down the field every time we run the ball. So to me, that's the most exciting part. If we can get Swift back and that offensive line comes together, and I mean, yesterday was what it could be if it was perfect all the time.
And it doesn't need to be perfect. That's the beautiful part.
Right.
Because yesterday you saw an identity.
Right.
And you haven't seen one. I'm sorry. You can't tell me 15 weeks before the Cardinals game that you saw an identity on this team outside of the defense playing absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, you just saw them trying hard. And that's an identity, which is fine, but it's not really a staple of how you should play every game. Yesterday, we saw the defense shut out in the first half.
They outcoached the Cardinals.
Special teams, our field goal kicker, didn't have to worry. Jack Fox is Jack Fox. Never have to worry about that. Our offense, Jared Goff, 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards, no interceptions, running the ball. Like, there's nothing I could take away from that game where I'm like, man, we didn't do this right. I even like Dan Campbell being aggressive off that opening kickoff. That's what we did against the Rams, and then we never saw it again. So I don't want him to bring that bag of tricks out only against winning teams. Like, I want that every single week.
I didn't mind it, but you know what's funny? I don't think anybody's talking about it. I'm glad you brought him up. Patterson, the kicker.
Yeah.
He hasn't missed a field goal.
Hey, it's good when you don't talk about him, right? I guess when kickers aren't being talked about, it's a good thing. I mean,
it absolutely is.
Patterson's he's killing it.
Stick, we talk about identity, building towards something. Why are we so patient with the Pistons, the Tigers, the Red Wings? Well, we see where they're going, right? And I think for the first time, as a Lions fan, you actually saw what they could be.
Right.
You see the Niners-Browns run scheme, right? You see the ability to pound the rock. You see play action, deception. Oh, okay, well, that's very similar to what the Rams did. Oh, we have a legitimate defense. Wait till we add actual cornerstone pieces.
And Dan Campbell's play calling was better.
And his play calling is better. Ben Johnson, I don't know how much credit people want to give him, but if you want to promote him to OC, from what I've seen so far, I'm really not too opposed to that. Now, whether or not you want to go out in the offseason and see who's available, be my guest. Do your due diligence.
You know what's making me the most happy today? You're not going to have a heart attack. I love this.
He's smiling.
He's smiling. He's positive. Like, welcome to my land.
I called Sunday. I called Sunday. That was important, man. That mattered.
Yeah,
that mattered.
It did.
The Vikings win. Look, people can laugh all they want and say that was big. No, that was a football game. That wasn't any given Sunday. You know, teams win games they shouldn't win all the time. No, the Lions beat the Cardinals. It wasn't the Cardinals came out lethargic. Make all the excuses you want.
It wasn't a tip ball interception that we ran back to take the lead. It was dominant from 0-0-0 to 0-0-0. And I have not seen a Lions win like that. And you called into the post game too, and we talked about this. Braylon Edwards, I said that was the largest Lions win I've seen in the past 3 years, at least. The biggest Lions win. Braylon doubled down, tripled down, 7 times down, and said, no, that was the best in 20 years. That was the most significant win in 20 years. And, Adam, you brought up a good point just because of where we were at with Dan Campbell. Like, this could be the mark where we draw in the sand that things changed.
Yeah, look, playing hard is great. I'm glad they play hard for your coach. Wins, losses matter, but having an identity is way more important than all of that. When you look at the Niners, you know what they do. They're going to run the ball, play action, Deebo Samuel. You know what the Niners are. You know what all these teams are going to do. The good teams, you know what they're doing. Brandon Staley, why doesn't he get crap for going on 4th down? Why? He preaches it every week.
Oh, he should get crap, though. After that last game. Come on.
Some parts, yes.
But I had Cardinal fans sitting next to me at the brass rail while we were watching the game, and to your point, like we were predictable, and they still couldn't stop us. The Cardinal fans were like, "They're going to run it here.
Yep.
We know they're going to run it here. Put 8 in the box," and they didn't do it. And there we go, 4 yards, 5 yards, chunk plays, and they were getting irate next week. Like, this is not a good team. What is going on? You could see Lions level frustration in them next to me. It was fantastic to watch.
Let me ask Stick this too, because people are talking about it in the chat. I hear people talking about it all ever since Sunday. Are you on the side of the Lions messed up their first pick overall? Are you kind of like, man, just let's string out some wins and build something, and I don't care where we fall?
I think I made myself clear on the post game about this. If you are a person that's worried about draft position, you are an idiot. Period. Do not worry about draft position. It'll work out the way it works out because, hey, you want to talk about number 1, number 2, number 3 overall. But we can go back to last year's draft as an example of it doesn't matter where you pick, it's who you pick.
Thank you.
That is the most important thing. And we could go back to Lions history. Oh, we drafted Eric Ebron over Aaron Darnold. Like, that didn't help that we had a better draft pick, did it? No. Very rarely is it about where you're picking. It's always about who
30th.
Yeah, Rashawn Slater went,
13, yep.
Yeah, Jamar Jefferson, or not Jamar Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson, 22.
Jefferson. Yeah, Justin Jefferson, 22. And then you look at...
arguably the best quarterback in the class, Mac Jones. He went, 15?
There you go. That will always be my point. And then I always go back to the Jordan documentary, too. Like, when he got to the Bulls, they were trying to win, trying to learn how to win, take their team to the next level. They weren't trying to protect a draft position and hope some guy falls in your lap. No, you got to create that winning culture. You got to create those moments where your team is going to be elevated, and you can't do that if you're constantly trying to lose. You can't.
Well said.
I think probably my biggest takeaway from Sunday was you saw what the team could look like given talent and what winning football on this team looks like. Mm-hmm. Are they running the spread? Are they going to be run heavy?
What Dan Campbell winning football looks like?
Yes, absolutely. And I love the after the game.
Yes.
Welcome to Detroit.
I love that.
Welcome to Detroit, man. And you just look, and it's not about antics at this point. That's a guy that outcoached his opposing, whatever you want to call him, Cliff Kingsbury, who I have to say, Stick, we did this last year with the Steelers.
Yep.
Remember very well. Cardinals started 10-2. They are now 3-4 in their last 7.
Yeah.
And I think they're losing out, and they're going to finish 10-7, and I think they fired Cliff Kingsbury. What do you think?
Well, first of all, does that make Stafford's win last week less impressive to everybody? Anybody out there? No? Everybody was talking, oh, he's back, baby. He did it. He beat a winning team. Well, Lions just beat the same winning team.
We got an hour and 47 minutes without talking about Stafford.
I'll move on from that. But Cliff Kingsbury, his offense is predicated on a mobile quarterback. Kyler Murray being hurt, he's not the mobile quarterback he needs. I mean, that's part of the reason they shipped Josh Rosen out of there is because the guy couldn't run. So when Kyler Murray, when that aspect of his game is gone, that whole offense isn't as effective. Right. And you saw it. Kyler had several opportunities that he could have taken off and probably normally would have, but he just doesn't have it in him right now. So with Kyler hurt, Kingsbury does not look smart.
No. I'm telling you, that team is on the verge of collapsing. Colts this Thursday. Or Saturday, I believe. Excuse me. They play the Colts Saturday.
Man.
They play the Cowboys after, and then they finish with Seattle. They're losing all 3.
Yeah.
I'm putting it out now.
How excited are you guys for football on Tuesday, on
Thursday.
Monday, on Thursday, on Saturday, on Sunday?
Dude, five days this week we get football.
Kiss your wife goodbye season. Let's go.
Right.
See, this is the one thing I can get behind with COVID. Thank you. I get football 5 days a week.
Oh, dude, remember that 3 o'clock game last year for the Steelers?
I think it was a Tuesday.
Amazing.
Weird. Yeah, that was a weird one.
It was Wednesday.
Woodward stopped working. Everybody went home early that day. It was the funniest thing.
Right.
And me and Stick were like, well,
that's work. We got to watch the games.
Well, I got a show tomorrow. I got to work. I'm like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow.
I love that. Yeah, you got it. It was at 3. So,
man. But Stick, I want to talk about one more thing you guys brought up on the post-game show. It was a different feel in the building. That wasn't they won. Man, that was like, whoa. They won.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that wasn't an upset. It's how they won.
Yeah,
and I haven't seen a win like that under Patricia, Caldwell, Schwartz. You can go back to the 90s probably for the last time you saw a game where you felt that good, and it was like the lights clicked. I see it.
Yeah, the last game I felt that good was probably that Javid Best 80-yard run game against the Bears where the Lions put up 35 points in the fourth quarter. Like, that was the last time I was like, man, this team is dominant.
Right.
But, yeah, to your point, everybody we brought on the post-game show, and if you want to go back and watch it on our YouTube, we had some characters stopping by the bar. Everybody, we just asked them, like, what was the vibe in there? What was your memories in there? And that's what people were saying. Like, there wasn't just doom and gloom amongst the stands, like, oh, the Lions are going to blow this like we typically do and all that. There was some joking in the bar about that, but at the end of the day, like, we just kept looking at each other in almost disbelief, like, this is happening. Like, we're really doing this. And they did it. And I'm so happy they did, especially this week before the holiday. Like, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, well, listen, if you want to stick around, we got to go to break. We're going to answer questions from the chat for the last 9 minutes of the morning. But, guys, before we go, I do have to remind you, give us a follow, social media, TikTok.
Definitely.
Instagram, Twitter.
Almost
Facebook,
at 17,000. YouTube.
Subscribe on YouTube.
Subscribe.
You're watching on YouTube, give the live stream a like. Download the Woodward Sports app if you want to listen to us on the road, or tune in on 99.1, The Roar, FM. Be our guest.
You can do it in the car, too.
We'll see you guys after the break.
Hi, I'm Tate Myre. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It's time to answer everybody's questions in the chat. We will start with Mike G. With the first overall pick in the 2022 draft, the Detroit Lions select. They don't have the number 1 overall pick right now. And you know what's funny? Everybody complaining about draft position. It takes one Jaguars win, and the Lions are right back at the bottom.
Yeah, and they have
and they play the Jets next.
You know what else is funny? We've had the debate. Who do you want, Hutchinson
and
or Thibodeau?
50-50.
Hutchinson or Thibodeau? Well, okay, you're getting one either way, so shut up.
Thank you. There's not a significant difference, in my opinion, between the two. I think immediately you're getting 8.5, 12 sacks out of Aiden Hutchinson. The problem is, with Thibodeau, it's, does he have that Myles Garrett ceiling? How good can he be?
Right.
So I don't think you're going to be mad at
what
either
it does, honestly, is it takes the stress
Pressure
off the
off.
Lions for messing up the pick. Because it's like, we couldn't have drafted that guy. We got this guy. You know, like it actually takes a little bit of pressure off Brad Holmes.
And look at the rings, like with Iserman, with Lucas Raymond. They fell right to him at 4. So they didn't have a problem taking him. Look at him. He's the best rookie. So
but it was the 4th pick. They shouldn't have won that game week 3.
Right. Yeah.
The question I've been trying to avoid all day.
What?
How did Adam do in his fantasy football?
Oh, boy.
All right, guys. So I usually reserve a few middle fingers every week for a few people. This week it goes out to Kyler Murray.
How nice is that?
Najee Harris, and most importantly, Michael Pittman, you piece of you-know-what.
Oh, yeah. Pittman
getting
sucked.
ejected. Carson Wentz overthrowing him in the first quarter. I have a chance. Don't get me wrong. But I need Matthew Stafford and Adam Thielen to take an absolute dump, and I don't see that happening.
But you have Kupp, don't you?
Yeah, I have Kupp.
So
But,
it's like...
Maybe Thielen won't play. He's still questionable.
yeah, but he has Darnell Mooney, so he still gets to start him either way.
Yeah, all right. Well,
I'm screwed.
Good luck, sir.
So, guys, if you ever want to see what thousands of dollars going away from you looks like, that's me over the weekend.
Especially week 1 of the playoffs. That
Dude,
sucks, man.
I was projected 160. I may not get 110.
Ouch.
That's so sad.
On the
So
other
sad.
hand, I'm thankful Jonathan Taylor didn't drop a 40-piece on my head.
If it wasn't for that 67-yard run,
it was.
Jeff's going to beat me in Woodward playoffs.
Yeah, it
and I
looks
got
like it's
this
me and
dude.
Jeff in the final.
Yeah, Claypool sucked for me.
Claypool's, yeah. He didn't even have a reception yesterday.
I think he
So
had
can
one.
we come to a consensus? If you're a wide receiver in the NFL and you have a TikTok, you should not have a job.
Well,
I'm okay with that.
yeah, I'm okay
Right?
with that as well. Yeah.
If you are doing TikTok while you're a professional NFL player, you should not be.
Also, we thought about a new rule yesterday, too. If you lose to the Lions under these conditions, you're not
fired?
allowed to be on the playoffs. So,
Cancel your trip.
Yep, it's over.
Especially like yesterday. You lose like that.
Yeah.
Just
Arizona should immediately be eliminated.
Just take their ticket.
What is the position the Lions need to hit a home run on next year, regardless of the round? I think it's, I want to say edge rusher. Wide receiver?
Yeah,
you can make the argument, but I mean, there's multiple positions.
I was going to say, take your pick outside of line, running back, and tight end.
Best player available. I mean,
yeah, quarterback would be nice. It'd be nice to hit on a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think this is the draft. I'd rather wait.
I've seen actually, Stick. I want to get your opinion on this. I've seen a lot of people kind of have the discussion. Second, the Rams pick. If Kenny Pickett is in that general area, you're on it.
I'm comfortable with him there. I'm not comfortable with him in the top 10.
Okay,
No,
well, at
no
least we're
quarterback
that.
should be, but
Yeah.
Pickett's going to rise to a top 10 pick.
No, he'll
I'm
probably
sure
be top
everyone
10,
knows.
top 15,
The hype train
definitely.
from ESPN is going to happen.
He's on that Zach Wilson
Yeah, he's getting
ascension.
it.
Is there any other quarterbacks that you'd be like, all right, if they fall to us, I'm okay with it? Or is it just kind of the Kenny Pickett thing in the first round?
It's the kid from Liberty that I like.
Malik Willis?
I like him.
Don't do it. Don't fall into that.
We had to bring it up.
He's not Lamar Jackson.
I'm not thinking he's Lamar Jackson,
But
but
that's
I do.
his comp.
I like him. I don't like Howell from North Carolina. I think he did a lot of his success under having two pro-level running backs, which you see Michael Carter and Javonte Williams doing their thing in the NFL.
Yep.
So I don't really love Howell. But if I'm taking a flyer, it's the kid from Liberty. Why not, man? Try it, baby. Roll them dice.
I'm praying. I don't know. I feel like they should address position. I think they should go receiver, edge.
Yeah.
Their first two picks.
Yeah.
Linebacker maybe with the first round pick if Nakobe Dean's available. Who knows?
I think he's going top. I think he's going higher than we
There
think.
may be. Look, I mean, you look at the secondary. Are you moving Akuda to safety?
You have to.
I'm assuming you are because Aware is the number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
No
Parker
doubt.
will be a good two.
And Jacobs.
Yeah, Jerry Jacobs is
will be
been
good
right
two.
there too. He's going to be
Like,
right there.
They're not that far off. That's what I think is most interesting.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if this is an 8-win team next year.
Yeah.
Jared Goff
I wouldn't have
played-
been surprised this year.
I was like, finally, you're just a year late. A
You're
little
just a
year
year
early.
late, Yeah, I'm early on my predictions.
Yeah, kind
All right, let's see. Next question. If Charles Harris plays that well the rest of the year and Romeo comes back, do we need to rush outside linebacker?
Yeah.
I still think so.
Yeah, I think that's more so Trey Flowers' replacement.
And
in my
that's a
opinion.
position that you depth is never a problem to have.
What
Really.
do you have? 12 tackles yesterday? I mean, he was all over the field. He had like
1.5 sacks. I
1.5
believe, yep.
sacks. I mean, Jesus Christ. Charles Harris.
Yeah, Lions got after it yesterday. Defensive
Yeah.
line played really well. I think I want to finish with this question for both of you. All right? It's a good win. Regardless of what happens for the rest of the year, I would like to come out and say this.
Uh-oh.
Regardless of what happens for the rest of the year, I think Dan Campbell not only bought himself, obviously, the first 2 years. I think that's a given. But I think year 3, you have to wait and see. You have to see year 3. Now, unless next year is a 2-15 year, and they just look awful, and they've regressed, and we all know they have talent, I don't see them. I think you got to see what year 3 with this guy looks like.
So he's not in over his head, is what you're saying.
No, I think Sunday I saw what they could be. That doesn't mean it'll work out, but at least I can get behind it and
There's a
say, you know
chance.
what? They have an identity.
Yeah.
And if they work, look, they can have that identity and it still not work out. What I'm telling you is, for the first time I saw an identity. What was the identity under Patricia? What was it under Caldwell? Tell me.
I mean, Caldwell, we've been through this, me and you,
What was
a
the
million
identity
times.
under Caldwell where you looked at and said, week in and week out, we're getting the same thing outside of fourth quarter comebacks?
Caldwell, I mean, they played tough. They were a tough defensive team. They had the number 2 defense in the league under them at one point. You
For
knew
the first year, and then it was
you knew
downhill
what you were
after.
getting out of a Caldwell team. They were going to be fundamentally sound and play the game hard. And
They were going to barely beat the bad teams and lose to the good teams. That was their identity. I'm not trying to say in a demeaning way, but where I'm going with this is, yesterday you saw Campbell deliver a big win against a good team, and you saw them dominate. And if that's the identity,
You can get on board with it.
I need to see what year 3 looks like.
Well, and you saw him do it with limited options. I mean, you
Yep.
saw him
Oh
do it
my
with an
God.
injured team, which is
The Browns
that's
have
more
been
impressive.
successful with injuries. The Niners have been successful through injuries.
Because that's coaching. That's scheme.
And thank you. That's an identity.
Yep.
They have something to fall back on. You didn't see that the first 14 weeks. You finally saw it. Guys, Stick, thank you so much for coming on.
Hey,
I
thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me. And go Lions!
Go Lions, baby!
All right, guys, we got to go. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. The chat, you were unbelievably awesome today. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you for everybody involved. Don't forget to leave a like on the YouTube channel as well. Drop in your comments after. Thank you so much. What a Monday it was. Monday Night Football tonight. You get 2 games, guys, 5 o'clock and 8:15. You got 2 back-to-back Monday Night Football games. You have Tuesday football at 5 o'clock. Lots to do this week. Lots to do. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
And bowl games.
Of course.
Ding, ding,
Fish. I know.
ding.
The
Bowl games.
Snickers bowl games that nobody cares about. I know. We got to go. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your Monday. Hope you're feeling great. We'll see you tomorrow.